No, don't do it, Jeffrey. Don't support that evil company. Oh, it's too late. Jeffrey's bought Tinder Gold. Finally, unlimited likes. He swipes, he swipes, he swipes, he swipes, he swipes. No matches. Jeffrey, if Tinder didn't work, then Bumble isn't. Oh, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's paid for a premium account on all of the dating apps that he can find. He's desperate. But worst of all, he spent this money and he's still not attracting any women. Adonis. Adonis attracts women just like brown men attract random bag searches. He implements the two-step process of meeting girls, which is far more effective than what every other guy does. Because of that, Adonis has abundance. What a powerful feeling. This is how he met Anastasia.
And the dark depths of the oceans to meet and learn surprising facts about the magnificent animals that live there.
Jeffrey has struggled with being masculine for all of his life. He's had a lack of drive and purpose and mission. He has no aggression inside of him. He's more like a coward. He can't seem to sit down and focus on his work. For all the porn that Jeffrey watches, he still has a low sex drive. His body accumulates fat more in the places that women would, like his hips and breasts. But worst of all, Jeffrey does nothing to even try to improve. Adonis. Adonis is a masculine man full of testosterone. His muscle mass is high, his body fat percentage is low, his libido is through the roof. This is a way that a man should feel. The testosterone courses through his veins, and because of that, Adonis can sit down and focus on his work. Exactly how a man should live. She's finally replied and Jeffrey's so happy. Jeffrey spends the next 10 minutes trying to think of a response. This is his baby girl after all. The girl of Jeffrey's dreams. But she's not that high quality. Jeffrey, look, she's texting other guys. And she spends all of her time on social media and watching reality TV shows. She's eating junk food. Jeffrey, she can't even do a pull-up. Jeffrey is like most young men who have such low standards in dating that they'll take anything that they can get. He needs to increase his standards, just like Adonis. Adonis expects the best from his woman, and so he has the highest standards. He wants the most beautiful woman, with the highest qualities for being a wife and a mother. There is one particular green flag that Adonis looks out for, and that is how he got the ultimate woman, Anastasia. Jessica's feeling down about herself, so she decides to download Tinder. By the time she's uploaded a picture, she's already got 20 likes. How? She didn't even have a profile picture yet. A couple of selfies uploaded, she starts to write her bio and she's got over 100 likes. She swipes left on 7 guys, she's over 250 likes. She sees a top 1% man, gigachad. She swipes right, it's a match. Dating is very easy for Jessica. Jeffrey complains about this. He hates Jessica. Why is she getting so many options? Women have it easy in the dating market. It's over. But we have to feel bad for Jeffrey. He's not even bad looking, so why isn't he getting any match? Oh, his first match. Jeffrey's so happy, finally. Oh my God, she's typing. What is she gonna say? Hey, would you like to join my live chat? Click this link right now. Jeffrey's tempted with fast food, but he also has the option of a salad. Which one is Jeffrey gonna choose? Fuck's sake, Jeffrey. Come on, bro. Oh, again, Jeffrey's tempted. It's midnight. He could go to sleep or he could watch porn first. Which one is Jeffrey Oh, come on, Jeffrey. So is it no surprise that Jeffrey feels so empty, so negative, and so depressed? He wonders why. He says it's genetics that he feels so bad, but it's because he hasn't aligned his life to his purpose. He keeps making these stupid, silly, short-sighted choices. That is no way to live at all, Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis has reached masculine enlightenment. That is where a man aligns 100% of his life to his purpose. Every small choice that Adonis makes throughout his day, throughout his week, throughout his month, his year, his life is directed towards his purpose and his mission. Because of that, he lives with total fulfillment. We would love to live like that. Jeffrey wants love, sex, and intimacy. He wants status and achievement and brotherhood. Do you think Jeffrey goes out there and builds himself up as a man to acquire these things? Or do you think Jeffrey's like most modern young men who'll take the easy path, porn and video games? It's no wonder why Jeffrey feels so empty, so unfulfilled and uncertain with himself. Why he has no confidence. Just look at his habits. Worst of all, he isn't even aware of his weaknesses. Adonis. Adonis wants love, and intimacy. He wants status and achievement and brotherhood. But Adonis is different to Jeffrey because he is the kind of man who goes out there and acquires these things in the real world. We see Adonis hunt, we see him train, we see him feast. He works hard, especially when he doesn't feel like it. And that is exactly why Adonis has built up such a good life. Jeffrey's almost given up hope. Maybe just one more text. That's 4 in a row now, Jeffrey. Come on, if she's not responding by... Jeffrey, not 5. 5 texts in a row with no response, Jeffrey. His crush is repulsed by his level of emotional investment in her. He goes to sleep thinking about her. He wakes up and he's thinking about her. In school, in work, he's thinking about her. This is the life of the bottom 80 to 90% of men. They obsess over women, whilst women obsess over Adonis. Adonis is the ultimate male, for he has hit life from all angles. His aesthetics, wealth, social skills, confidence, mental health. He brings the full package, and that means that Adonis is in the top 10% of men who actually get attraction from women these days. But what's interesting is that Adonis doesn't really pay attention to them. He's focused on his mission, his goals, his purpose. Modern men could learn a thing or two from Adonis. Jeffrey's learned the brutal truth of modern dating. 10% of men are having with 90% of the women, whereas 90% of men are totally and utterly sexless and deprived of intimacy. Which group of men do you think Jeffrey is in? It's time to make some changes, Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis trains hard. He delays gratification for his future self. He's been living like this for years. Ever since he was a teenager, he was building up his future self to enjoy a better life. He studied hard, he slept well, he ate clean. All of the self-improvement habits that Adonis did as a young man have compounded to the success that he has today. And what a good life it is to be in the top 10% of men. Jeffrey looks like a soft modern man with his fat stomachs, his man boobs and his skinny arms. He barely has any facial hair, he has pimples and a weak recessed jawline. But Jeffrey wants to be treated like a man. He gets pissed off that other men don't respect him. But why would they? Look at him and judge for yourself whether you'd respect someone like Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis looks strong. His massive biceps take up your field of view. And just look at that jawline. Adonis is the perfect example of a masculine looking man. And you can imagine just what benefits to looking like this would be for you. Jeffrey's done so well on the date with Jessica. It's all going so great. Okay, time to just pay the bill and get out of here. Maybe I'll actually have sex with her. The waiter comes, hands them the bill. What do you think Jeffrey does? He looks at Jessica and says, well, you know, so the bill is $18, and so if we split that, it's $9. Oh, no, Jeffrey, she's already left. Don't be like Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis is a gentleman. Now that does not mean that he is a simp, but he is a strong, successful, masculine man, and that means that he provides for his woman. Adonis understands sexual energy. He understands how to be more masculine so that his woman can be more feminine. Together they unite in a beautiful relationship. Jeffrey's a weak, emotional, modern young man. He doesn't go to the gym consistently, but when he does go once every 7 months, he's put to shame by the women in there. Jeffrey goes in and does a little bitch workout. He hops from machine to machine, not even getting close to failure. Jeffrey, you could do more than 6 reps on that, but he stops. He doesn't want to feel the burn. He wants to avoid any kind of discomfort. Jeffrey does not know that discomfort is how men are made. Modern men, the Jeffreys of the world, are put to shame by women who are more disciplined than them. That's backwards. Adonis. Adonis does the hard work, especially when he doesn't feel like it, for he is a disciplined, strong man. He is so masculine that the women around him can't help but to be feminine. He is so strong and dominant that the women around him can't help but to be submissive. And that's a good thing. That is how men and women need each other to come together in a relationship to unite. But Adonis looks around and we don't have this anymore. Men are feminine, women are masculine. No one needs each other anymore, and so we're all lonely. Jeffrey's breathing so heavily. Close your goddamn mouth, Jeffrey, and breathe from your nose. Does Jeffrey not realize the negative consequences of mouth breathing? A recessed jawline and ill health. Jeffrey needs to learn how to mew. Adonis. Adonis breathes like a king, through his nose deeply. His tongue is pressed against the roof of his mouth to create the perfect breathing posture. This results in Adonis having the perfect, sharp jawline that all men want. Jeffrey complains that girls are all shallow and no one wants to date him, but he looks like this. Soft, weak, poor style, dirty clothes, smelly breath. Jeffrey, it's not that girls are shallow. It's that you are gross. And most young men are exactly like Jeffrey. They are so deprived from love, sex, and intimacy, and so they sink deeper into modern addictions. Social media, in video games. A sad existence, but an existence that you can climb out of. Adonis. You already know what I'm about to say. Adonis is the ultimate man. He hits life from all angles. His physique, his confidence, his success, his status, his mental health, his community, leadership, everything. Adonis is the full package. Just look at that package. Jeffrey encourages you to be weak. That's so strange. He's one of your friends, and so he should want you to be stronger and more productive and more successful. So why is he convincing you to smoke more weed? Why is he convincing you to play more video games and eat that junk food? That's because he's a shitty, low-quality friend. Adonis is the most encouraging man that you will meet. He wants better for you. He wants to see you living to your potential. Why? Because Adonis is the tribe leader, and the tribe is stronger when we are all stronger. We often insult Jeffrey at the start of these videos, but Jeffrey is a young man who has fallen victim to the modern addictions, modern technology, social media, hyper-stimulating in video games. Is it Jeffrey's fault that he's down bad? It's so easy for us to make fun of him, but he's fighting an uphill battle. Jeffrey checks his phone and there's notifications in a certain shade of red that are so enticing that he just can't help but to click on them. Then he scrolls and scrolls and scrolls, falling victim to the social media platforms that use this endless scroll, like this death scroll technology. Hours and hours and hours every single day, every week, every month, every year, up until Jeffrey's left so depressed, empty, nihilistic, unaccomplished, and then Jeffrey kills himself. Jeffrey makes fun of you for your flaws. He laughs at your man boobs and says that he can see them through your shirt. What a jackass, Jeffrey. Leave me alone and stop touching my titties. Adonis makes sure that all men in his tribe feel welcomed, loved, and accepted. Just look at Adonis. We think he is the perfect, most ultimate man, and yet he still sees himself with some flaws. But he embraces those flaws with confidence and gratitude, and that is why he seems so fulfilled with himself. That is something that we need to learn from him. Jeffrey is a weak, timid coward. He leaves his men at the battle line. They needed him. Where is he? Jeffrey's in the bunker watching porn in the VHS tapes. Adonis is a brave, courageous man. He runs straight into the danger, for he is the tribe leader after all. Jeffrey says you're shallow and gay when he sees you style your hair. He sees you go to the gym, and again, he calls you gay because you're trying to build some muscle. Oh! What's wrong with you, Jeffrey? Don't you realize that looks are now more important than ever? Adonis. Just look at Adonis. What a beautiful, fine specimen of a man. Look at those delts, look at those quads, look at those abs. And that jawline, my god. Jeffrey doesn't realize why he can't pay attention. His mind wanders all the time. He gets irrelevant thoughts so he can't focus. Why is Jeffrey like this? Because of overstimulation. Jeffrey watches hyper-stimulant content like Hamza's old videos. He scrolls on TikTok and Instagram. He opens 5 tabs when he's on Pornhub. Come on, Jeffrey. That's no way to live. Adonis lives such a beautiful, peaceful, and natural life. He spends his days outdoors in nature amongst his brothers. That is a beautiful way to live, and yet Adonis notices the young men, so many young men who are totally consumed by modern technology. And it's sad. It's scary. Adonis needs you to give up these vices and become stronger so that the whole tribe can prosper. Jeffrey isn't masculine at all. He's broke. He's lazy, he procrastinates. He doesn't even have a job to support his family. He thinks he doesn't have to give back to them after everything they've done. Any money that he does get, he selfishly spends on video games, on the next Steam sale. You need all those games, Jeffrey. Adonis understands that a core principle of masculinity is providing for his loved ones. And so Adonis works hard, especially when he doesn't feel like it, so that he can accumulate the resources, the power, the money and wealth to keep his family safe. Jeffrey hasn't found his purpose. He does not have a mission. He's not ambitious and he doesn't have big goals. And so what do you think Jeffrey spends his days doing? Nothing. He wakes up late and the first thing he does, he grabs his phone and checks his notifications. He wastes precious hours on social media, watching videos on how to find what to do with your life, just like you. The answer's obvious. It's uncomfortable, but it's obvious. But Jeffrey won't take it. Well, that means that his life will never change. Adonis totally understands purpose and mission. He knows what it takes to find out what to do with his life. He spends time in solitude, in deep contemplation, in journaling. All of the strong men of humanity have had journals. They've spent time in nature and solitude so that they can hone in on their masculine energy and find out what their purpose is. Jeffrey makes fun of you because you don't have that much money. But Jeffrey, you're broke too. So how do you afford those designer clothes, Jeffrey? Well, that's just it. Jeffrey is broke, but anytime he does get money, he spends it on bullshit like designer clothes and expensive items. Adonis is a wealthy, successful entrepreneur. He has provided immense value to the market, and so the market has reimbursed him with immense profits. Because of that, Adonis gets to live a lavish, luxury lifestyle, which of course he does enjoy from time to time. And yet, Adonis is most seen living a life of peace, spending his days outdoors in the wild. It's very easy to get lost in your tasks and duties, your to-do list, your mission and your purpose, to sometimes forget. It's very, very important to take some time to cultivate a sense of peace and relaxation for yourself. It's something that I really struggle with. Jeffrey makes one of those cringe YouTube videos. I'm 24 and I don't know what to do with my life. I'm 30 and I wasted my 20s. Don't end up like Jeffrey. To make the most out of your 20s isn't actually that hard. You just need to know exactly what to do to secure yourself in a good spot for your 30s. Jeffrey overlooks this. He says it's all based on luck and genetics. But Jeffrey, you play video games for 3 hours a day. You don't read books, you don't meditate, you don't exercise. So what the fuck are you talking about luck and genetics, Jeffrey? Worst of all, Jeffrey will try to convince you that this is the way to live. It is not. Adonis looks back with such fond memories of his 20s, such a valuable time of developing himself. Of course, not everything was perfect. Of course, he made mistakes and failures, but the amount of growth that he put himself through in his 20s has secured the rest of his life forever. This is what all young men should aspire for. Jeffrey does the bare minimum work required for his studies and his job. He has some free time that he could spend productively, but he copes and says that he doesn't have anything else to do. And so Jeffrey plays video games. He scrolls on social media. He watches a bit of but it's not bad for you because you've got to masturbate because it reduces the chances of prostate cancer. We're not falling for it, Jeffrey. You're a loser. Adonis spends all his free time developing high-value skills. This is what makes Adonis so special. How can one man have such a broad, excellent skill set? The whole tribe's hungry, well, Adonis can hunt. We need direction and encouragement. Well, Adonis is the tribe leader after all. He's developed all these skills and all the people of his tribe can't help but look up to him. Jeffrey hates women. He hates women because he doesn't understand them. Too many young men are just like Jeffrey these days, when instead we can become more like Adonis. Adonis is a wise, strong, masculine man with such a great understanding of feminine energy. He can't hate women because he understands them very well. He understands that her chaotic side is all part of the feminine energy inside of her, and he loves her for that. It's time we become more like Adonis. Jeffrey is the worst, most disrespectful, least friendly friend that you have. It's so weird. He sees you being productive and improving your life. He sees you going to the gym and meditating and reading and journaling, and he disrespects you for it. What kind of person would be negative to you when you're doing something positive in your life? But the responsibility is on you to be more cutthroat and to deal with this situation. Adonis. Although Adonis is kind and loving, he also has so much respect for himself that he will not allow anyone to stay in his life if he doesn't think that they are worthy. Adonis is cutthroat, and he has to be because he is the tribe leader. Imagine everything going well in your self-improvement journey. You've been exercising consistently, you've been meditating and journaling and making so much progress. Girls are holding eye contact with you, you feel awesome, and then you relapse. Back to day zero of no fat. Or maybe you get sick and you miss a week from the gym eating junk food. Jeffrey will criticize you for this. He'll insult you. He'll call you weak. He'll say that self-improvement's not even working for you. But Adonis will tell you that all of this is still part of the journey. So you've been spending most of your day looking at a screen, on your phone, on your crusty black computer chair, and all you see is negative news. Breaking news, more death, more violence, more chaos. Is there any wonder why your mental health isn't great? Okay, picture yourself in this scenario. You go out to a restaurant to eat with a couple of your friends. The cute waitress comes up and she smiles at you and she asks you what you like. You say the food and drinks that you want with polite manners, and then it's your friend's turn to order. What do you think your friend's name would be in this scenario? Jeffrey. Jeffrey doesn't even look at the waitress and he seems to order in somewhat of a rude, negative manner. When your waitress has taken your orders and she's walking back, Jeffrey calls her ugly and she hears it and her day is just ruined. What would you do in this scenario? What would Adonis do? Adonis would apologize on his friend's behalf. And then he would have a serious conversation with Jeffrey and tell him that that is unacceptable. You need to make sure that you're not living like Jeffrey. Jeffrey wanders through life with no plan. It's like he's driving a car without even holding the steering wheel. Why would you not set goals and go in the direction of life that you actually want to go into, Jeffrey? It's so weird. Jeffrey will literally insult you and call you gay if he sees you setting goals. Ask yourself right now, do you want to live a life like Jeffrey? Do you want other people to set the direction of your future, or would you rather have control of that yourself?
But Hamza, you could die tomorrow. You could get hit by a bus, so you may as well not even try. Shut up, bro. Dumb.
That's what these losers will say to you. You could die tomorrow, so you may as well not even try. Do you want to be like one of them? Do you want a life like one of them, or do you want to be more like Adonis? Adonis is a goal setter, a go-getter. You want to know how Adonis is so masculine? He constantly sets and achieves goals. The masculine energy is all about the mission, the goal, the challenge. Adonis understands that being more masculine is simple. Set goals and ruthlessly dedicate your life to achieving those goals. Every action, every decision, every choice that Adonis makes fulfills his goals. Not only does that give Adonis such a great feeling of fulfillment and success, it also leads to him becoming a better father for his children. They look up to him with so much respect and love because they see a man who's dedicated to his purpose. Adonis's entire tribe look up to him. Everyone does. Isn't that the life that you want to live? Well, then it starts with setting goals. Jeffrey's making everyone feel uncomfortable. Jeffrey is racist. It's interesting that when I said the word racist, I just saw Weatherspoons. Weatherspoons is like a UK franchise of like pubs. It's where you would assume a racist and everyone's gonna say, oh no it's not, but like it's where you'd assume a racist goes. And the image of a racist who I have in my mind is like a high body fat percentage, bald head, wearing like a white England football top, like drinking a pint at like 11 AM on a Tuesday. And by 12 o'clock he's being dragged out by the bouncers who like know him by his first name. I'm not racist, I just think they should go home. Adonis. You look around at the people in Adonis's tribe and it's interesting. They're so diverse. Men, women, black, white, Asian. Why do you think a man like Adonis would lead a tribe that's so diverse? Because he understands that there's beauty and real value in our differences, in our cultures. And so Adonis cultivates a tribe in which our differences are celebrated and used to bring us all up together. Oh, shut the f up, Jeffrey. Jeffrey thinks you're weird for trying to improve your mental health. He says that meditation is weird, it's rubbish. He says that journaling is for girls. He sees you taking a picture of your favorite leaf and he steps on it. We hate Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis looks sad. He looks heartbroken. He sees more and more young men suffering mentally. He sees them hurt themselves. He sees their last moments where they look so hopeless. They're crying, no one understands them, they think they're all alone. Adonis makes a vow to himself that he will try to help these men. That he will do whatever it takes as much as he can to help men's mental health. Yo, this Jeffrey guy is kind of toxic. Jeffrey thinks that all women are hoes, all women are cheaters, all women are sluts. Relax, Jeffrey. He's been watching too many red pill videos on YouTube. Jeffrey defies all odds and then gets himself a girlfriend. He's so happy for a few days. And that's when the negative thoughts start kicking into his mind. She's cheating, she's getting down by some guy right now. That's not good for your mental health, Jeffrey. But he can't help having these thoughts. And now he doesn't trust his girlfriend. She goes to the toilet and guess what Jeffrey does? He spies through her phone. Who the f is this guy? That's it, he's had enough. She's texting other guys, he's gonna break up with her. He tells his girlfriend that she's cheating, that she's texting this guy. But Jeffrey, that's my brother. Oh, now Jeffrey feels like an idiot and he apologizes, but it's too late. His girlfriend leaves him and Jeffrey sinks deeper and deeper into the toxic belief that women shouldn't be trusted. Adonis. Adonis trusts his woman and his woman trusts Adonis. They have a beautiful, healthy, happy relationship. Does that mean that Adonis never gets negative thoughts? No, of course not. Everyone gets some kind of negative, insecure thoughts, but it's how Adonis responds to those thoughts that really matter. When Adonis gets a negative thought, a thought of a trust issue with his woman, he tells her exactly what he's just thought. He says, oh, my brain just gave me this thought. And together they unite as a team to overcome that situation with total honesty, authenticity, and communication. A relationship like this is so nourishing for Adonis and his woman Anastasia. There she is. That's the girl that Jeffrey has a crush on. She sits down in the class and Jeffrey looks at her. He stares at her. She notices that he's looking at her and he doesn't look away. Jeffrey is one of those guys who stare at you and then continue staring when you realize that they're staring. This makes her feel creeped out and uncomfortable. A million thoughts process in Jeffrey's mind. Should he speak to her? What should he say? She's a why won't she? So what do you think happens next? Do you think Jeffrey gets the girl? Of course not. But what about Adonis? Adonis has eyes for the most beautiful woman in his tribe, Anastasia. How do you think a man like Adonis would navigate this situation? Do you think he would stare at her from afar, being a little wimpy coward? Of course not. Adonis walks up confidently, breathing right into his stomach. He gives her a genuine compliment and then he does something special. He piques her interest by saying that he will go slay the mighty boar in her name. He goes out to the hunt with his men and she can't help but just think about him around the clock. Will he return with the boar? Is he safe? Is he really doing this for just me? And return he did, for that is how Adonis won Anastasia's heart. So you finally get a girlfriend. After being in the bottom 80% of men for so long, you're now a high value man and you're eligible for a gamer GF. The red pill Jeffries will tell you, never compliment her, never validate her, treat her like shit, be mean, keep her keen. Are you gonna listen to Jeffrey? Because that sounds kind of toxic. Adonis, on the other hand, thinks that you should treat your woman like she is a goddess, with respect and love and appreciation. Take your pick. Looking at ass again, Jeffrey? Jeffrey spends over an hour of his time scrolling through Instagram, looking at women. You know, for how much he looks and lusts over these attractive women on Instagram, it's kind of weird why he has so many negative thoughts about them. He's edging, he's like jacking off his dick whilst he does it, but he's thinking negative, toxic, abusive thoughts about them. These sluts, whores, they have such an easy life, all they have to do is show ass. Well, Jeffrey, you do realize they're profiting from your attention. Like, they've got such an easy life because they're just attractive. Well, you do realize that's because of you. A beautiful woman and women in general are kind of like Jeffrey's enemies. He really wants to have sex. He really wants intimacy, but he just seems to hate these women. Can you guess why? Can you guess why he hates sluts? Because they won't be his sluts. Adonis. You give Adonis your phone with Instagram loaded up. There's ass right there on the screen. Guess what Adonis does? He swipes to the left where you can upload to your Instagram story. He takes a picture of his favorite leaf and he uploads it. That is Adonis's Instagram use of the day. And because Adonis has cultivated a great sense of brotherhood, all of his tribesmen message him about his favorite leaf and they send him their favorite leaves. What a healthy tribe they are. You see, Adonis doesn't need to lust over the women that he encounters. Now, that does not mean that Adonis doesn't appreciate beauty. Of course he does. He values beauty and the feminine. But he just doesn't allow himself to obsess over it. He keeps more important things in mind. Jeffrey, I called mid first. It's too late. Jeffrey's already insta-locked Teemo for mid lane. Jeffrey's the kind of guy that you come across when you're playing solo queue on League of Legends. This motherfucker has no humility. Jeffrey, you're not that good of a player, so why are you acting like it? What the f? Why is the enemy mid laner here? Jeffrey, you didn't SS. Why is this guy swearing at me in the team chat? You know that quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. Well, for that game of League of Legends, Jeffrey is one of those 5 people that you are becoming more like. He acts big and hard inside of League of Legends, but then in the real world, he's sat on a crusty black computer chair. What are those stains, Jeffrey? What are you doing with your life, Jeffrey? Don't you have any goals for the real world? Don't you want to get out of that job? Don't you want to do anything with yourself? Didn't you say that you were going to lose some weight this year? Jeffrey's lack of success, social connection, and enjoyment in the real world thrusts him deeper into the virtual world in video games like League of Legends. Adonis. Adonis defends his homeland against the enemy tribe. He fights hard and ruthlessly and he's ready to use his ultimate ability. He swings his great axe and decapitates the enemy leader in one hit. They've won. They protected their base from the enemy attack. Let me ask you a question. How do you think Adonis has such great mental health? He's never played League of Legends. He spends his time out in nature, being present and grateful. He takes a picture of his favorite leaf. He jumps over puddles. He plays with his children. Adonis lives the most beautiful, healthy life possible. He does not need video games to stimulate himself. Why would you grab your phone first thing in the morning, Jeffrey? Look at this guy. His name is Jeffrey and we do not want to be anything like him anymore. Jeffrey wakes up late and the first thing that he does is grab his phone, go through all of his notifications, and then he spends over an hour scrolling through Instagram, TikTok. Oh my god, bro. Jeffrey has Snapchat streaks. Bro, deadass. If you've been fucking sending the streaks with like fucking emojis to people like, well, we've got to keep up the emojis, otherwise our friendship is no. Oh my god. If you start your day off exactly like Jeffrey, you'll end up exactly like Jeffrey. And the rest of Jeffrey's life is not somewhere that you want to be. Just look at him. Disgusting. Adonis. As soon as the beautiful sunrise hits Adonis's closed eyes, he opens. He's ready for action. He sprints out of his cave and he wakes up his brothers. It is time to hunt. He leads them through the jungle, up a hill, and underneath a great fallen tree. Adonis et al. Slay the mighty boar and bring it back to the tribe. All before the rest of the tribe members have woken up. What a productive morning, Adonis. This is why you are our leader after all. I want you to really imagine this into your mind. Imagine accomplishing every goal that you set out. You build the body, you make the money, and you get the girl. You feel so happy. Everyone who knew you previously is like so astonished. And you're finally starting to get those guys and girls from your high school who are being a bit jealous and hateful towards you now because they've seen how much you've grown and they say that you've changed. And yeah, of course you've changed. You've become successful. So what happens next? You've achieved everything that you've wanted. And now Jeffrey appears. Why don't you just take some time to enjoy your accomplishments? You've built the body, so go and enjoy the pizza. You've made the money, how about we spend just a little bit on drugs? You've got the girl, but what if we cheat on her? Are you gonna listen to Jeffrey, or will you take the path of Adonis? Adonis has a different message for you. Do not get complacent. Success may lead to failure if you ease up. Sacrifice must be progressively overloaded. Say it with me. Sacrifice must be progressively overloaded. Jeffrey's discovered self-improvement, but he's doing it all wrong. Forget about the Instagram meme page business, Jeffrey. You're never gonna make real money from that. Oh, he's trying another business, and another, and another. Forex trading, Jeffrey? NFTs? Crypto? Come on, Jeffrey. You see, Jeffrey has shiny object syndrome. He wants to try as much as possible. Because Jeffrey isn't productive, he's not disciplined, he doesn't have much willpower, he isn't even a jack of all trades. He performs poorly in 10 different areas, unlike Adonis. What do Adonis and Mr. Beast have in common? They're both sexy as fuck. They are essentialists. That means that they focus on their highest point of contribution. They put in all of their work efforts, all of their discipline, all of their time into the best things that they can. For Adonis, that's being the tribe leader. It's being that strong masculine figure who decides the future of the tribe. It's focusing on one main thing that allows great men to excel. Whatever you do, do not be complacent like Jeffrey. What a shame it is to waste your youth, to waste the most precious asset that you have, which is your time, on instant gratification activities like video games and porn. Jeffrey feels so negative about himself, but then he tries to convince you to be just like him. He tells you that it's okay to play video games. He says that watching porn isn't that bad. It's your choice. Do you want to be like Jeffrey, or do you want to be like Adonis? Adonis has incredibly high levels of self-esteem. He's still humble, but he acknowledges the progress that he's made, and he feels so happy to be himself. He's in a beautiful position in life. Just look at him. Look how confident he looks. My God, what a beautiful man. How did Adonis get this way? Because he wasn't born like this. Through trials and tribulations, Adonis put himself through challenges. Every self-admitted challenge that Adonis conquered made him feel better about himself. How could he not respect himself after going through 10,000 workouts? How could he not love himself after being so kind and generous to his community? That is the path that you must take. Jeffrey should have studied more for his exams. He's been given his results and he failed almost every class. How's he gonna tell his parents? What's he gonna do with his life? Jeffrey starts having an existential crisis. These grades aren't good enough for any job. And so what does Jeffrey do to fix all of this? He opens up Steam on his computer and he spends the rest of the day playing video games. Fast forward a few years and Jeffrey's working a low-tier job that he dislikes so heavily. He makes just enough per month to keep inside of the rat race. You see, in the virtual world, Jeffrey is successful. He's a warrior. He's a knight. But in real life, he's a loser. He's a creep. Isn't it so obvious that Jeffrey would prefer spending all of his time in the virtual world instead? What a sad reality for most young men, and you probably can relate. Adonis. Adonis has built up a fantastic life. Through hard work, discipline, and consistency, Adonis was promoted to become the tribe leader. That level of responsibility and leadership feels so incredibly fulfilling to him. Adonis lives the ultimate male life. He lives the life that all men, whether or not they have the confidence to admit it, actually want. And that's because Adonis reserved all of his brain power, his energy, and his time for his accomplishments in the real world. Adonis has noticed more and more young men being consumed by these weird rectangle screens. It's strange. Why do they grind in these video games when they could grind in real life? Jeffrey's so desperate. Like most young men, Jeffrey feels deprived from love, sex, and intimacy. He has intense, obsessive crushes on the girls in his class. Now onto this question, what kind of standards do you think Jeffrey would set for the women that he wants to date? Do you think he would have any standards at all? Or would he simply just take whatever he can get? You may have experienced your dating life just like Jeffrey, where you didn't get girls for so long, till eventually when any girl shows an interest in you, you're ready to commit and invest straight away, and she's so perfect, she's amazing. But I mean, come on, objectively, bro, she not that good, bro. Adonis. Adonis has been through a lot. When he was young, he prepared ruthlessly for the rite of passage of his tribe. He impressed everyone, especially the women. Slowly and surely, he moved up the ranks and eventually he was promoted to tribe leader. Through holistic self-improvement, Adonis became the ultimate man. And so now, of course, he has the love of the ultimate woman. Adonis is a humble man, but he does respect himself highly. And so he sets high standards for his woman. Watch out for that creeper, Jeffrey! Jeffrey starts playing Minecraft. What kind of Minecraft player do you think Jeffrey would be? Would he be peaceful and helpful in the server? Would he build beautiful and complex monuments? No. Jeffrey is a griefer. This is the kind of motherfucker who will reset your progress. You spent so long building your house. Jeffrey doesn't even know how to make TNT on this game, but he'll come in and block by block destroy what you've built. He will destroy everything you love. And then when you're upset because you've just lost an entire few days of progress, Jeffrey will smirk and say, oh, relax, bro. It's just a game. It's not just a game, Jeffrey. I've just spent 10 hours making that shit, bro. What the fuck? Adonis. Block by block, Adonis builds a beautiful castle. The lighting, the attention to detail, the courtyard, it's all perfect. Adonis doesn't know what Minecraft is. This is his castle in real life. You see, Adonis chooses to build great things in the game of life. Why would he invest his time and his energy into a virtual world? And so Adonis goes out there and slays dragons, but he doesn't slay the Ender Dragon. He lives the life that all video gamers want, but it's just easier to do all that in the virtual world. Imagine you live your life the way that your mother wants you to. You play it safe, you never take any risks, so you never start that business. You never go all in on your career. You never jump over that puddle. What kind of life would you be left with? You'll have no great stories of adventure and challenge to tell your future son. The Jeffreys of the world, the weak people, will tell you that this is the right way. Don't take risks. But Adonis, on the other hand, encourages you to take risks, especially when you are young, because the reward of those risks compound exponentially. Imagine you reach success in just 2 years. You accomplish all of your goals, but then it gets to your head. The Jeffrey part of your brain will keep you blind to your weaknesses. For many people, success leads to failure because they allow their Jeffrey brains to take over. Be careful. You just saw the title of this video and realized that it's Men's Mental Health Month. Now your mind is showing you flashes of pictures of very, very popular female empowerment movements, and yet men's issues don't really seem to be taken seriously. Why is that? It's because of people like Jeffrey and Jess who belittle the men's movements, who say that men's mental health is in a crisis, who argue against men who simply want equal rights. In the tribe of Adonis, everyone is appreciated. Men, women, and children. Imagine you are in the king's grand courtroom. King Adonis sits on the throne with all the knights and ladies looking up at him. This is the mighty king. Just for a second, literally think about how much power kings used to have. They control the fate of the entire kingdom. They could go to war. And so you look upon King Adonis, and you notice one thing, the way that he breathes. He breathes fully, so fully in fact that his stomach bulges in and out like mighty bellows. But he isn't self-conscious about his stomach looking fat. Jeffrey is the court gesture, the fool that everyone laughs at. And you notice the way that Jeffrey breathes. He breathes so shallowly, like he's anxious or nervous, holding in his breath because he doesn't realize he's holding in his power. Think back to how you were raised when you were a boy. A boy's masculine essence is developed by their parents. You look back to those crucial years with a sense of insecurity because you might not have had the nurturing that you needed to develop yourself into becoming a man. But Jeffrey will argue with you. Jeffrey will say that it's not only okay for you to be feminine, it's encouraged, that you should be less masculine. The Jeffreys of the world try to convince young men that it's okay to be complacent, to be weak, to be addicted to instant gratification, to not be competitive, to not be aggressive, to not have some kind of essence inside of them. But if you listen to Jeffrey, you'll end up having a life exactly like him. Our leader Adonis suggests something different for you. He looks at you, a young man striving to become better, a young man trying to improve himself, and he respects that. He's attracted by that. Why? Because Adonis needs more developed men in his tribe. Think about how sad it is that if you were raised by your parents and your teachers in a slightly better way, if they praised you more for your small improvements, you'd be far ahead in your self-improvement journey now. You would have developed psychologically and cognitively better. That means higher intelligence, better problem solving, all if your role models praised you. And so Adonis makes sure that all young men in his cult are praised and appreciated. He sees you working hard and he says those magical words to you. I'm proud of you. Imagine you going through puberty and then suddenly you get gyno. Where did these titties come from? Why has this happened to me? Why have I developed bitch titties? Man boobs. This happened to you because you were living like Jeffrey. You feel this sense of nihilism, of emptiness. You want to rack up these accomplishments and feel that you have meaning and purpose in life, but your Jeffrey friends keep saying to play one more game. Adonis expects better from you. He will encourage you to get onto holistic self-improvement, to delay gratification, because that is the key to living a life of meaning. You've lived your entire life being punished for being a man. In school, your female teachers belittled you and put you in detention and shouted at you for acting exactly how a boy should. And then in the real world, your Jeffrey boss acts in the exact same way. The Jeffreys and the Jessicas of the world will punish you for being a man. Never apologize. The ultimate man, Adonis, never apologizes for being a man. He claims his birthright with full confidence, as should you. Jeffrey wishes for an easy life. And so he looks at you weird when he sees you striving for discomfort. Jeffrey sees you voluntarily going for a run when it's raining. That is weird. He sees you going to the gym, grunting as your muscles burn. That's weird. All of self-improvement is weird to Jeffrey. But Jeffrey doesn't realize that we don't want a life like him. We want a life like Adonis, the man that symbolizes strength and discipline and masculinity. Imagine having a deeper, more resonant, more masculine voice, and people start taking you more seriously. Because right now, you sound a little bit like Jeffrey, and Jeffrey sounds like a little bitch with his high-pitched, creaky voice. You hear his voice drop, and so no one takes Jeffrey and you seriously. But Jeffrey says to you that it's okay, that trying to make your voice deeper is gay. Are you gonna listen to him? Because you know what's interesting? Everyone listens to Adonis. Adonis has the loudest, most clearest, most masculine, most deepest voice out of all of the men in his tribe. Well, he's the tribe leader after all. He has to shout the commands. That automatically makes him easier to listen to. And so Adonis looks at you and says in his most beautiful voice, "Come on now, son. Make sure you subscribe to Hamza's channel." You don't even know where you've went wrong, do you? Picture your personality in terms of how feminine or masculine you are. You're a modern young man. That probably means you're way more feminine than you'd like to be. Jeffrey and Jess says that it's okay, that you should be even more feminine. But they don't realize that quite frankly, one of your biggest goals is to attract more women, to have more sex, and to eventually have an amazing wife and children. You will only get to that point if you rebalance your masculine and your feminine energy. Jeffrey and Jess are gonna get offended at this pursuit of ours. So let them. Adonis, on the other hand, understands the importance of this pursuit for young men to be less feminine. He looks around at you and your friends and he wonders, why are men so emotional these days? Why do men spend so much time playing and enjoying themselves with this weird stimulating rectangle screen instead of conquering the mission like men are supposed to? Think back to your childhood and ask yourself this question. How much did my daddy play with me? All the Jeffreys are hearing is, daddy, that's sexual, that's gay, did your daddy play with you? Shut the f up, Jeffrey. This is a serious matter that we're talking about. Adonis says that fatherhood is our purpose, the greatest mission that we will encounter as men. And so it's really worth asking this question seriously. You're disgusting, Jeffrey. Jeffrey is like so many young men these days. He's unhygienic, he has no style, he wears a bathrobe in his video. Hang on. I do look kind of hard in the bathrobe though, I'm not gonna lie. Jeffrey is part of the 80% of men that women say are ugly. How do you think Jeffrey feels about this? An absolute fundamental need of human beings is love, and intimacy. Jeffrey gets none of that. He feels weird, he's obsessive, he can't stop thinking about girls, he can't stop looking at their bodies, he can't stop watching porn. He feels so much guilt and shame every time he masturbates. But worst of all, Jeffrey does nothing to improve himself. Adonis. Just look at Adonis. What a fine specimen. Women are attracted to Adonis. Gay men are attracted to Adonis. Even straight men are attracted to Adonis. For he has put in the work. Now all the losers will say it's just genetics, only genetics matters. But we know what it is. Adonis has went to the gym and lifted weights for decades. He's ate clean, nutritious, unprocessed foods for decades. He's developed his style, his fashion, his hygiene for decades. He took responsibility and control for his appearance. And now he's in the top 20% of men that women are actually attracted to. Jeffrey's doing it all wrong. He's a young man, but his top priority is pleasure. He wants to get as much fun and stimulation as he can. That means Jeffrey's like your friends who spend all day on social media, all day on dating apps, all day on video games and Netflix and porn. You don't want to end up like them. You've been taking steps away from that degenerate instant gratification lifestyle. Good on you. Adonis. Adonis's top priority is his growth. He values his growth even above his tribe, his loved ones, his family. Why? Because Adonis understands that it's with his growth that he can give back to his community. This is called enlightened self-interest. And so Adonis acts in the way that's best for his own self-improvement. He wakes up to sunrise and he jumps into that cold lake. He meditates, he journals, he contemplates life and his goals. Adonis levels up in many areas of life, whereas Jeffrey levels up in video games. Take your pick. Jeffrey's weird. He lives in his mummy's basement. Fair enough, you don't have to move out just yet, but come on, Jeffrey. This room stinks. Why is there toilet roll right next to your bed, Jeffrey? Smells kinda cummy. He stays in comfort because his mother protects him from the outside world. Jeffrey is legally a man, but he's actually a boy. A mummy's boy. Adonis. Adonis loves his mother. He understands that she's just trying to do what's best for him, but he also understands that mothers can give too much of a sense of comfort to their young men. And so sometimes he has to defy his mother. Sometimes he has to go out there in the cold, in the rain, and he has to do those challenging tasks that she tries to protect him from. He will not allow his mother to throttle his masculinity. And interestingly, this actually improves his relationship to his mother. She sees him as a strapping, strong, young man. That's still her baby boy, but she has a lot of respect for him now. This is the worst thing that Jeffrey does, and there's a lot of Jeffreys who want you to commit this same crime. He seems like a normal guy, our Jeffrey. He finishes school or work and then he goes on his computer or his Xbox. He doesn't have a great diet. He watches porn. He scrolls on social media. Jeffrey's doing a lot of things wrong, but the number one worst thing that he is doing is wasting time. And now Jeffrey criticizes your self-improvement attempts.
Oh, you don't need to be productive all day. It's okay to have some fun.
Shut up, Jeffrey. Adonis. You see Adonis and he's always doing something productive. But Adonis's version of productivity is very different from Jeffrey's. For Adonis knows that sleeping is productive. He knows that time spent in nature and in sunlight is productive. He knows that deep conversations with his brothers and his family is productive. And so his entire day is filled up with activities that promote his growth. Please have mercy, Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a blood-hungry warlord. Everyone respects him. Everyone looks up to him. His kill count is in the hundreds. But that's in the virtual world. But in the real world, Jeffrey is a loser. He's weak, he's lazy, and he's undisciplined. He got poor grades in school. He has a job that he doesn't even like. Jeffrey lives a life like most men. The real world around him isn't that stimulating, and so he sinks deeper and deeper into the virtual world where he can be anything that he wants. But he doesn't realize that the more time he spends in video games, the less ability he has to level up in real life. Adonis. Does Adonis look like the kind of man who would choose to sink deeper into the virtual world instead of enjoying the fruits of his labor in real life? No. Adonis has put in the work, the discipline, the grind, so that his real life feels like a video game. He hunts, he feasts, he grows with his tribe. He's been promoted time and time again till he became the tribe leader. He feels amazing. He has a feeling of brotherhood and of conquering challenges. He has a family, a beautiful wife, and children who look up to him. Adonis lives the perfect life, and that's because he didn't waste time leveling up in video games. Stop being a creep, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's that guy who makes your female friends, your sister, and your mother uncomfortable. You notice he's staring at you and he just stares. You see, Jeffrey is like this because he's desperate. He watches every single day, and that's fucked up his mental health. He's used to seeing women in a very sexualized manner, and so when he does see women in real life in public, he can't help but see them in the same way that he looks at them when he watches porn. Adonis. Adonis has learned how to have a beautiful relationship with a woman. He looked up to his parents who modeled the ideal masculine and feminine relationship. And so Adonis already had a great foundation on how to attract women and maintain a healthy relationship. His mother taught him how to be loving, kind, and supportive. And his father taught him how to be masculine, strong, and a leader. He has the perfect combination of traits that's so totally irresistible to women. Whatever you do, don't believe Jeffrey. Jeffrey waits outside of the gym, looking around the corner. He sees you about to go in for your workout, and that's when he hits you with a barrage of insults.
Being healthy is fat-phobic. I don't have enough time to work out. All bodies are beautiful.
Now it's time to choose. Who are you going to follow? Jeffrey or Adonis? Adonis greets you inside of the House of Iron. Straight away, you can smell the musk. Normal people will think you're weird for liking that sweaty smell inside of an old school bodybuilding gym. But you are a man of culture. Gamer girl bathwater, we need bodybuilder musk. I'm gonna butcher that quote. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the strength and beauty that his body is capable of. Socrates. Socrates. How the f do you pronounce this guy's name? You're never gonna get girls like that, Jeffrey. Jeffrey does it all wrong. He is horny, but he doesn't have the right traits that actually makes him attractive to girls. Of course, it's Jeffrey, so he's missing some of the fundamentals. His breath stinks. How do you think you can attract any women like that when your breath stinks, Jeffrey? Even Chads can't afford to have bad breath. Adonis doesn't have green flags. Green flags have Adonis. Green flags have Adonis. A phenomenal communicator, respectably honest, insanely attractive. Adonis is the world's best postman because he brings the whole package. Aren't you tired of living like Jeffrey? Always in the dark and doing all the bad habits. Playing video games, watching porn, eating junk food. Jeffrey doesn't have the urge to improve himself because he lacks one key thing. That one thing causes a burning desire, a pressure inside of young men to commit to self-improvement, to stop doing the bad habits and to start doing the good. Do you know what that one thing is? Accountability. Jeffrey has no accountability. There's no one who's holding him to a higher standard because all of Jeffrey's friends are exactly like him. Adonis. As the tribe leader, Adonis has all of the accountability. Everyone looks up to him. Everyone looks at every action that he takes. So how do you think Adonis is going to navigate life? Is he going to make the weak, pleasurable decisions? Is he going to slink away and act like a coward? Of course not. Adonis was already the fantastic, ultimate man, but with this added level of pressure and accountability, he stays on his purpose at all times. Oh, shut up, Jeffrey. Jeffrey thinks that he's better than you. But look at him and look at the way he lives. With his crusty computer chair and his hunched over posture, watching self-improvement videos. Does that sound like you? Posture check. He is certain that he is better than everyone else. He's arrogant, he's full of himself, but for no good reason. And then Jeffrey sees you celebrating your accomplishments. He sees your body transformation picture on Instagram. And Jeffrey's the kind of guy who leaves hate. You're celebrating an accomplishment that you worked hard for, and this motherfucker wants to bring you down. You might have friends like Jeffrey. Adonis. Adonis is the pinnacle of man, the best man, the ultimate man, but he doesn't assume it. Adonis treats you as if you're as good or even better than he is. That makes you feel special, it makes you feel important. A strong brotherly connection is formed when someone treats you like that. Adonis aids his own growth by not comparing himself to others and instead just comparing himself to how he used to be. He sees younger Adonis in his mind and he smiles with the level of progress that he's made. Jeffrey is making a huge mistake and you might be too. He thinks that the only thing that's really important is money and pleasure. Jeffrey saved up his money so that he can spend it on video games, junk food, premium. Who the f buys premium, bro? Come on. Jeffrey and probably you don't realize that there is something so much more important than money. A currency that you are currently wasting. Can you guess what it is? Adonis. Adonis does not pay attention to these modern technologies, just like Pakistani men do not pay taxes. What do you think Adonis does with his time and his attention? Do you think that he puts it into video games, into Netflix, into modern media, into cringy self-improvement videos just like this one? No. Adonis conserves his attention for his own growth, for the growth of his tribe, for the growth of his mission. Whilst other men spend all day with the hyper-stimulating content of today's social media, Adonis spends his time on his goals. That is the correct way to live life. Jeffrey hasn't received a notification just yet, but he goes back onto Tinder just to double check.
Wait, what? Where did she go? No, she wouldn't have unmatched me. No, she wouldn't have.
It's too late. Jeffrey's left with just 3 matches. Jeffrey starts swiping again, hoping to meet her. Right. right? 0 matches. He looks in the mirror and objectively, Jeffrey is actually not an ugly man, but he's starting to feel that way. And because he feels that way, it starts to become a reality. This is the brutal truth of Tinder. Adonis! Adonis uses Tinder just like Asian men pay their taxes. He doesn't. But let's see him try. One of Adonis's tribe members passes him a smartphone. Adonis chooses out his best pictures and starts swiping. Match after match after match. But what's interesting is that Adonis doesn't really seem happy about this. He's confused and wonders why anyone would degrade themselves to this level, to be judged purely on a couple of their pictures, as if they don't bring anything else to the table. This is how humans date. Jeffrey is that guy in your friend group who bullies you. He says it's just a joke, that he's just roasting you and he's just playing around. But he actually says some mean f***ing shit. And he does the same thing to a couple more guys in your group. You're managing okay, but one of your boys is struggling right now. He's not gonna get any help from Jeffrey. He needs you. Adonis. Adonis looks out for his brothers. In fact, he looks out for his entire tribe and the tribes around him. He understands how fragile the human psyche can be. And so he's always ready to give his friends support, to listen to them, to show them that they're loved and valued. Because it's with his friends, with his brothers that Adonis has grown so much and he will continue to grow. It's as a team that we grow.